Hello. Hello, my friends. The puppies. The puppies are going crazy down here. Oh, my goodness. Come here. Come here, you. Oh, yes. Make an appearance. Make an appearance. Okay, that's a good job. That's a good job. Go over there. Take it in. Take it all in. Hello, my friends. Welcome to Positive Affirmation Tuesdays. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. Normally, I always end the positive affirmations by giving you guys an affirmation. But starting today, I want you to write well, hello, Ronnie Lynn, hello. Thank you. That reminds me, for those of you who may view this as a video later, it did originally air as a live stream. So you may hear me interacting with people in chat, even though maybe you can't see the chat. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. And that is, instead of me giving you an affirmation when we're done, everyone's going to write their own affirmation based on whatever their takeaway was from what we talked about. And today we're talking about recognizing burnout. And this is really important, especially with the holidays coming up, right? I mean, it's October 1st. The holidays are literally right around the corner. They're going to be here before we know it. They're going to come and they're going to go before we know it. And it's really easy to burn out during the holiday season. Hi, Lynn. Welcome. It's really easy to burn out during the holiday season. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure even with dealing with family and situations and a bunch of family being together when you normally wouldn't have to do that. And everybody feels under the pressure for everything to go smoothly, right? And sometimes you might even find that after Christmas, I think this is especially relevant for people that have young children. Uh, you spend all this time shopping, all this time preparing to get the right gifts for the kids, and you decorate the house, and you got all the food to make everything wonderful. And then an hour and a half after the kids wake up, it's just shrapnel on the floor, right? Just wrapping paper and everything, and there kind of is this letdown. I think sometimes people find that and they don't know why. You have to really take especially good care of yourself during the holiday season. And I know the holidays are about giving and what you can do for others and showing how much you love them and showing how in tune you are with what they like and what they want and where they're going in their lives, right? All that giving and all that focusing on other people, it really does take a toll. And I think we all know, hi Sharon, welcome. Hi Sarah, welcome. And I think we all know when we're starting to feel burnt out, right? I know I start to get a little pestier. I get irritated a lot more easily. Sometimes, listen, and that's kind of an extreme. Sometimes I can just feel really blah, right? Just no energy. And really, those are like little warning lights. We really do all have an internal dashboard, if you will. You know how, like, on your car, there's a dashboard, and when the car needs oil, that light will come on, check engine. You could maybe ignore that one for a little bit, but probably not wise to ignore it for long, or something's going to really, really, really go wrong. Um, the gas gauge, that's one I think everybody pays attention to. I don't think anybody ignores when the gas gauge is showing it's in the empty zone. You have an internal dashboard that lets you know when your fuel is running low, that lets you know when you're in that danger zone, when you're running on empty, when it's time, no matter how important the destination is, no matter how important you think it is to get where you're going, you've got to pull over and refill. That's human nature. Nobody can run forever without sleep. Nobody can run with no food. Nobody can run without some self-soothing. Nobody can run without taking their own temperature and doing something for themselves. And as women, I think we've learned to ignore that. We've learned to ignore that because wives, mothers, we put everybody else first. But it's really true, that instruction that they give you when you're on the airplane. Put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you put it on your child or your loved one or the person next to you who's struggling. There's a reason. Because if you don't put the oxygen mask on first, you may become incapable of helping yourself and anybody else. So it's really important to acknowledge that, well, hello, Mary Lou, how are you? Welcome. It's really important to acknowledge when you're feeling burnt out. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with getting burnt out. It's a human condition. I think that we've kind of been conditioned as women not to complain and just to give and give selflessly and to always be there when anybody else needs us and to try to predict what somebody's going to need before they even say that they need that. Right? We've kind of been conditioned to do that, and for some of us, it comes very naturally to do that. It really does. But you can't keep doing that forever. And if you do it and do it and do it and do it and do it, I think we've all been there. We're all suddenly we snap, and like everybody around us goes, where'd that come from? It was months, sometimes years in the making. You didn't just snap over, the washing machine going off spin cycle, right? That's how it set you off. It was the straw that broke the camel's back, and it's because you didn't take time, you didn't recognize the signs that were telling you, hey, I'm running on empty. I'm starting to get burnt out. I need a glass of wine. I need 20 minutes in the bubble bath. I need to go lock myself in a closet for 20 minutes. I need to get in the car and say I'm going to the store and pull around the corner and park the car and cry or listen to my favorite music for 20 minutes. I just need to be alone. I need to recoup. I need to regroup. I need to refill. I need to refuel. Right? And I think we all know. We know. Sharon says, my kids are older, but our living room is still always overtaken with wrapping paper, etc. Right. I mean, kids, I don't think it matters. Even if they're in their 40s or 50s, There's still, hello, children. Hello. Do you mind adjusting? Hello. Child. I think when children get around their parents, it's, even if they have kids of their own, it can be really easy to slide back into, I need to be taken care of. And for some people, your parents are older, and now the roles have to be reversed. And so sometimes you have to take care of your parents, which is a new role, while you're taking care of your relationship and trying to take care of yourself and work and take care of your children, and maybe there's grandchildren. Like, we get pulled a lot of different ways, and we're just human. I think it's really silly to think that we can just go and never stop and need to kind of refuel and get a little tune up, right? We don't expect our car, we don't expect to just leave the dealership with the car and put the key in the ignition and it just goes forever, and we don't ever have to stop and, check the oil or refill the gas tank. We don't think that. So why do we think that we can just go? And if we actually, while some things have gotten easier, like, hey, let's face it, we're not living in the 16, 17, 1800s, right? We don't have to walk a quarter mile to the river with a bucket to bring water back to the house to cook with, and then, hand do the laundry and hang it out and chop the wood and, make the biscuits from scratch, build the fire to cook, build the house. We don't have to do that, but because now we have conveniences. We have a microwave, we have a refrigerator, we have a sink with a faucet. We just turn it on, right? Magic. But with those conveniences have come other stressors, right? Cell phones, amazing. But to some extent, they can be a leash. You have your cell phone. It's not like being away from the house out running errands, right? Where if somebody calls, it just goes to the answering machine and you get to it when you get to it. Now people can just reach out and grab you wherever you are. And you can do the same. Like, there's really no private space anymore, because anybody can reach out to you at any time. Social media, come on, that pulls us all kinds of directions, right? Do I absolutely love my phone? You bet. Do I feel naked without it sometimes? You bet. Are there times when I have to take that phone and put it on Do Not Disturb, or take it and go put it in my bedroom on the charger in there with the ringer off so that I don't even have it or see it? You bet. And what bothers me about that is I'll be completely engaged in something, and if I've done that, kind of taken the phone out of my presence, I can't tell you how many times in 15, 20 minutes, I'm reaching for it. Oh, it's not there. It doesn't need to be there. It doesn't need to be there. Sometimes you just need to decompress, right? I can tell when I'm starting to get burnt out, because I get just really irritable. I get really, really short, right? Even to my little furry children that I love so much, right? Who I just love. I mean, there's nothing I love better than for them to be on my lap or sitting right next to me. Boy, I know when something's going on with me, when they jump up on me and I'm just like, ugh, ugh. I'm not doing anything. I'm just coming to get some loving. And I'm just stressed. I'm on edge. Probably hangry. Probably tired. Probably irritated from something on social media. It's terrible. It's terrible. And I feel terrible when I get like that. Or I feel terrible when I'm short or snappy with a friend or a neighbor, or when I was working a coworker, because I really hadn't done anything. But I hadn't done anything either. I hadn't done anything for me. I hadn't checked in. I hadn't taken my own temperature. Something was going on with me, and I was ignoring my own check engine light. And nobody else knew that. It wasn't anybody else's job to say, how are you doing today? Did you eat? Did you get enough sleep? Have you taken some time out? It's anybody else's job. And suddenly I'm snappy. I'm bitchy. I'm moody. I'm angry. I'm cranky. I haven't taken any time out for me to go, whoa, you got a lot going on. You're balancing a lot. You can't do it all the time, every day, 7 days a week, 30 days a month, sometimes 31, right? Don't even feel better when it's leap year, and I don't have to do it 30 days a month. Then I'm irritated that suddenly it's March. What the hell did February go? Okay, those are signs of burnout. We all have our own things that we do when it gets like that, right? I'm not alone about that. So I'm gonna read you when we get to the reading. And for some of you that joined a little bit later, I want to share with you that I'm gonna do something a little bit different. Instead of giving you the reading and the affirmations at the end, I'm going to give you the reading, and we're going to have our talk and our discussion. And I love it when you share, and I love it because then I know I'm not alone, right? I don't do positive affirmations because I have all the answers. I do positive affirmations because I need these kind of check-ins in my own life. These kind of things that I do, the readings that I do, the affirmations that I read, the techniques and things that I share, I've been studying those for well over 30 years. Well over 30 years I've been studying them. But like a student, I can't stay at university forever. At some point, you have to take what you've studied and what you want, what you yearn for, and you have to marry the two and start to try to implement that into your life. And I don't always do that. It's very, very easy to slide back into just ignoring what I'm feeling, ignoring what's going on, and not walking the walk. So I need this reminder in my life. If I wasn't doing the positive affirmations every week, I probably wouldn't pick up these beautiful, cherished books that I love and that bring me some relief and bring me some comfort and bring me some reassurance that I can't possibly be alone. Not just because of people who show up for the positive affirmations, but because not only did somebody sit down and write about a lot of the things that I'm feeling and going through, they didn't just sit down and write it. Somebody saw value and published it, and a lot of these became bestsellers. Millions and millions and millions of people bought the book. If I didn't do this and I wasn't with you, these books, I probably wouldn't pick them up. And yet it's a journey I've been on for well over 3 years of trying just to make peace, with what's going on and what happens in life, to find my own rhythm. We've all heard, that phrase, oh, he or she marches to the beat of their own drum, right? And that's great, and we admire those people. I don't just want to do that. I want to find a rhythm. I want to find a rhythm, and I want to find a flow, and I want to find an ease with being who I am, and how I wander the earth. I want to be at ease with that. Not, I want to be able to say, this is me. Even if I'm just saying it to myself, I want to own it and embrace it. I don't always have to love it. I'm not always lovable. God knows I'm not always lovable at all. But I want to be able to say that's me too. I'm not always lovable. Those are my best moments. I'm not always graceful. I'm not always going to say the right thing. I'm not always going to do the right thing in the moment. I'm not always going to be the best friend I want to be. Who doesn't want to be? We all want to be. I want to be at ease. We're saying, that's life. That's life. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. I'm not actively trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm not actively ever trying to do that. I don't wake up in the morning and not want to be the best dog mom, right? Or the best friend, or the best creative, or I don't always wake up in the morning and say, I just want to sit and watch reality TV all day. Hi, Quinn, welcome. Well, actually, that's a lie. Sometimes I do get up and say, I just want to sit and watch reality TV all day. And trust me, I get into it. And that's okay. That's me. That's me. I want to be at ease with it. Because I think the more at ease with it that I am, the more at ease I am with my faults and my frailties and my vulnerabilities, the more graceful I'm going to be as I walk the earth. The more authentic I'm going to be in my relationships. I think that's what we all want. We all want a really true connection with other people and ourselves, right? When I paid attention to what's going on with me, and I go, I gotta go to bed early tonight, or I live alone. I admit it's not always. I love to cook. Not always the easiest to cook for one person, right? But like over the weekend, I made a beautiful meal for myself, really well balanced. I mean, you would have thought that there was a husband coming home and kids, to make sure they got their balanced meal. And I thanked myself for it. I acknowledged it and said, "Thank you, Annette. Thank you for doing this," right? Because I need that. We all need that. And when I do those things for myself, I have more to give to other people. Those are the times when I feel more creative. I feel kinder. Sometimes I feel a little wiser, right? Because I'm not struggling. I'm not struggling so much with the question, the whys and the wheres and the what fors. And so the answers come with a little more fluidity. And we all need that. We all need that. But you have to learn how to pay attention to your own check engine light, right? And Sarah says none of us are always lovable at times. You got that right. But we don't want anybody to see that. We don't want anybody to see that about ourselves, right? Even though everybody goes through it. That's everybody. We don't want anybody to see it. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to admit it. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to admit it. Because I said before, you can't change what you don't acknowledge. And I've said often, knowing your worst traits and characteristics and the parts of yourself that aren't that lovable all the time, that's equally as valuable as knowing all the things that you're great at and all the great things about yourself. But you have to take time to take care of yourself. And I promise you, the times when you're not very lovable or when you're burnt out. So we're going to have this conversation, and I see, you guys are acknowledging, you guys are tuned in. So I know it's not me, and I thank you for that. I thank you for letting me know it's not just me. And I hope you find comfort in knowing that it's not you. But let's see if we can figure out a way to make some of those cringy moments happen a few times less a year, a day, a week, a month. Because it's happened. It's going to happen again. So I'm going to give you the reading like I always do, but I'm not going to give you the affirmation. I'm going to ask for you to come up with your own affirmation, because I see in the chat that you guys relate to what I'm saying. But the answers for your burnout or your, you're less than, when you're not Mr. or Miss Congeniality, when those moments show, only you know what you can do to make yourself feel better when that happens. I don't know how to make you feel better when that happens. I mean, as a friend, as a fellow human being, I can tell you the things I'm telling you now, that, hey, you're not alone. Hey, that happens to me too. Hey, it's okay. Because these times when you're irritable or snappy or we're kind of down in the dumps, that's not the majority of the time. It's not who you are. It's a product of ignoring what you need. But I can't tell you what you need. I don't have the magic words or the recipe or the potion or the solution. You have that. So I'm going to ask you to create your own affirmation. And then if you want to share it, you can share it. Okay? Does that sound fair? If anybody needs a minute to grab, pen and paper, go ahead and do that. And then I just ask, or do it afterwards. That's fine. And then remember when we made the affirmation cards? Make yourself an affirmation card about it and put it with your cards. Make yourself something to put in your joy jar. I was talking to a friend maybe last week, texting with a friend last week or the week before. They were having a really, really bad day. And I said, go get your joy jar. Go get your joy jar. I promise you, whatever you pull out of, whatever slip of paper you pull out of that joy jar is going to be exactly what you need to hear. And she did it, and it was. And maybe she even surprised herself, and it surprised herself. I'm telling you, some of these things work. So you're going to, if you're relating to what I'm saying, you have to find your own answer. You have to find your own way to self-soothe. You don't have these talks to bring these things up, as a reminder of the crappy times that we go through in our life. Bring them up so that hey, that's life. Not what Frank Sinatra said, that's life, right? It's life. But you can start where you are. You can bloom where you're planted. You don't have to stay, become that curmudgeon, right? We're all getting older. I don't want to be that cranky old lady. I don't want to be that curmudgeon. I don't want to be that, right? I don't want to be like a shipwrecked old pirate. I don't want to be that way. I want to be happy with what time I have left. I want to be a good friend. I want to be a comfort to others. I want to be a good neighbor and a good dog mom. That's what I want to do. I'm closer to my death than I am to my birth. I don't want to go out on a sour note. I'm going, but I don't want, I don't want, when I'm gone, I don't want people to walk by my house and be like, oh my God, that lady that used to live there. Oh, woo, I want that. I can have those moments, but let's face it doesn't feel good when you're having one of those moments. So I think it's a lot easier to fix something before it gets totally broke. So if you're starting to head to that dark and cranky and curmudgeon-y and irritated state, where you're just going to snap at everybody and you're just going to, you guys ever had those days? I've had these days where I'm alone in my house, nobody's pulling my hair or poking me or saying things to make me mad, and I'm kind of just stomping through the house. Nothing's really wrong. It wasn't anything really happened to make me that way. People, you might hear, so-and-so woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. I promise you, it's generally, sure, sometimes you do just wake up kind of in a mood. I promise you, generally, 95% of the time, it was something that was a long time coming, and you just ignored it. Like a fly, like, shoot, I don't want to, I don't want to think about that. I don't want to deal with that. But you're dealing with it. Listen, if you're not dealing with it, it's dealing with you. Sharon, that's a beautiful affirmation. Sharon says, my affirmation is focus on being present, not perfect. That's a beautiful affirmation. All right, let's take a look at the reading. Today I'm reading out of a book called Simple Abundance, which is one of my most favorites. And this reading is called Recognizing Burnout Before You're Charred. And it always starts like with a little quote in this book, and I love that. And the quote is, my candle burns at both ends. It will not last the night. Edna St. Vincent Millay. Burnt offerings, burned to a crisp, burned beyond recognition, burned alive, burned out. Setting the world on fire comes with risks. Unfortunately, we usually don't realize this until smoke gets in our eyes. Burnout is a condition caused by unbalance, too much work or responsibility, too little time to do it over too long a period. We've been cruising in the fast lane, but we've been running on fumes rather than on fuel. Often we think that burnout is something that just happens to other women, to workaholics, to perfectionists. But careaholics are also at risk. Women who care deeply about their children, work, relationships, parents, siblings, friends, communities, issues. This sounds like every woman I know. Perhaps we would pay more attention to burnout if it were as dramatic as a heart attack. But a smoldering flame can be just as deadly as a flash fire. Sometimes burnout manifests itself in a sense of complete exhaustion at the end of a project that has taken months of challenging and intense work. Taking a week off to rest and then resuming work at a slower pace is usually enough to bring about a speedy recovery. But first-degree burnout, the soul snuffer, comes from living unbalanced for years, when what was supposed to be a temporary situation becomes a lifestyle. Burnout often begins with illness, anything from a bout of the flu you can't shake to chronic fatigue syndrome, and is usually accompanied by depression. Sometimes burnout is hard to distinguish from a creative dry spell, especially if you're good at denial, which most women and men are. It's burnout when you go to bed exhausted every night and wake up tired every morning, when no amount of sleep refreshes you month after weary month. It's burnout when everything becomes too much effort. Combing your hair, going out to dinner, visiting friends for the weekend, even going on vacation. It's burnout when you can't believe under any circumstance that you'll ever want to make love again. It's burnout when you find yourself cranky all the time, bursting into tears, or going into fits of rage at the slightest provocation. It's burnout when you dread the next phone call. It's burnout when you feel trapped and hopeless, unable to dream, experience pleasure, or find contentment. It's burnout when neither big thrills nor little moments have the power to move you. When nothing satisfies you because you haven't got a clue what's wrong or how to fix it, because everything's wrong, because something is terribly out of whack. And it's you. You're what's out of whack. It's burnout when you feel there is not one other person on the face of the earth who can help you or understand what you're going through. And you're right. When you're suffering from burnout, you are the only person on the earth who can help, because you're the only one who can make the lifestyle changes that need to be made, to call a halt, to take a slower path, to make a detour. When you have no strength left, you have no choice but to rely on the strength of a saner power to restore you to wholeness. In the pursuit of our soul, spirit takes no prisoners. That resonates with me. Not every day, thank God. But the days when it does resonate, those are the longest, heaviest days. And what I take from that reading is that it doesn't have to feel that heavy. That I have the power to not reach that point. But if it does, if I ignore those signs, if I ignore those internal check engine lights, and I get to that place, I also have the power to stop or slow it from happening again or happening as often. We are powerful. And this doesn't just happen to women. It happens to men. It happens with men, women, heterosexual, homosexual, Christian, Jewish, whatever. Guess what? There's a common denominator, and it's called the human condition. Rich, poor, married, single, with children, childless, working, disabled. There's a human condition. You don't have to be working 80 hours a week out of the house, some high-powered job, to get burned out. This happens to everybody. But we have the power to recognize it and to try not to make it like going off over the edge of a cliff. Like in Thelma and Louise, like there was nothing left. Like that was the only alternative, just drive over the cliff. It doesn't have to be that way. Sarah says, I need space when too much is happening and struggling to cope with everything. Yeah, everybody does. And when you start to feel that you're struggling to cope, when everything starts to feel like it's a stressor, you just gave yourself your own solution. You need space. You need space. Sometimes when everything's starting to get a little too much for me, I really need to tune out. I'm telling you, reality TV, I mean, it's my guilty pleasure, but it also, you know, I mean, I'm not working on rocket science when I'm watching it. I really can just slip out of whatever is going on with me. And I find that when I do kind of return back, things are a little clearer if I can get a little space. So I can totally get that, Sarah. I totally get that. We can all kind of sense when it's coming. And it doesn't have, listen, you don't have to get burned out. We all know when we're starting to do too much. And I'm telling you, with the holidays coming, you guys, oh my gosh. There's going to start to be a frenetic pace in the world, in the stores, right? Oh my God, I found myself last month worrying about getting a Thanksgiving turkey and stuffing for Thanksgiving. Are you kidding me? Worrying about that in September? Because I know pretty soon there's going to just be this mad dash. I don't have to panic or worry about that. I can just, I've got an extra huge freezer. I can just buy the turkey and put it in there and just put the turkey in there and go, see you in November, Tom. I can buy the stuffing mix now. I really can. I don't have to let it get to that point. But whether it's that or something else, I'll get to that burned out point again. Because I'm human and I've spent too many years feeding the habit of denial and ignoring my own feelings, of thinking that if I think of myself first, that's selfish, it's narcissistic, it's, me. It's not what it's about. Put the oxygen mask on first. You gotta put it on yourself first. All right. I'm trying to think of what my affirmation would be. Has anybody come up with the affirmation? We've almost been going 50 minutes, so we're actually nearing the end of today's gathering, right? We're nowhere near ending our own journeys, but we're almost going to sign off for today from this moment in time, and we're all going to, collectively and individually go back to our own lives and our own responsibilities and our own demands. Running Lynn says that she sometimes says to herself, worry about this situation at 3 p.m. tomorrow, and literally put it away for a while. And that's a good technique. That's almost like, count to 10 before you say something in anger, right? But also, you don't want to keep putting everything off, because there comes a point where you can't put certain things off, and that can be just as overwhelming. But if there's something that you are struggling to find clarity with, because you're just too emotional or you're not in the right headspace. There's nothing wrong with saying, I'm not equipped to deal with this right now. And since the house isn't on fire, I can safely put this away and revisit it tomorrow. But I'm not going to keep putting it off. And I'm going to make sure tomorrow I'm a little better equipped. I'm going to try to get a good night's sleep. I'm going to, if I'm going to put it off, I'm going to do something that refuels me. If I'm going to put it off, right? If you're going to put it off, then make sure you're not secretly still dwelling on it. Make sure it's not like an open program on your computer, that it's not running in the background. If you're really going to put it off and not think about it until the next day, then really don't think about it. Then really do something that removes yourself. Sharon says, I'm a future warrior too. I'm working on it, but it's hard. Oh my God, that's me to a T, Sharon. I worry. And I plan. And I think if I plan, and cover all the bases, then maybe less can go wrong when that time actually comes about. And nothing wrong with being a planner, and I'm a good planner. I mean, you ask Lynn if she's still here. She's coming to visit at the end of December, and I want to know where she wants to go to dinner. I mean, Annette, relax, right? But I feel like, Lynn says she's overthinking. Lynn says I'm an overthinker and overplanner, talking about herself. I haven't seen that. Because when I said, do you want to go here for dinner or you want to go here for dinner? She doesn't know. She's never been here. And maybe she doesn't know what she'll want to eat that day. And she goes, probably this, but we could figure it out when I'm there. And that was like, that was just like, it was like she just threw a batch of chaos at me. What do you mean? I need to know what you like for breakfast. Ronnie and Lynn's coming. Before Lynn comes, I gotta know what kind of coffee. What kind of coffee do you like? And do you like this? Do you like that? You look at, I want to know. Well, that's Lynn says, yeah, but they're your plans. Yeah, but it's your vacation. It's your visit, and I'm not overly planning to make myself happy. I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I'm a consummate codependent, and I also really, I kind of like to think of myself as a damn good hostess. But I think some of that law that comes from my childhood and living amidst chaos and never knowing what was going to happen, and they weren't good surprises. I'll tell you that. There was a lot of surprises that happened. They weren't good. It wasn't like, surprise! I baked you a cake. Those weren't the surprises that happened in my house. So I try to control some things to limit the possibilities that things can go really, really wrong, really sideways, especially when I have somebody's good time in my hands. And that's what can happen with the holidays. you know, especially like if you're hosting the holiday dinner or the gifts, you know, that you buy, you know, you just like, it's like, I mean, there's joy in it, yeah, but a lot of that can be overshadowed by a lot of responsibilities, you know, feeling like, you know, you're responsible for somebody's good time, good birthday, great Christmas, great holiday meal, you know. Hey, maybe if the holiday meal goes perfectly, Uncle so-and-so and Grandpa won't have the annual fight, you know, and then Aunt so-and-so and Grandma are in tears, and, you know, really we can't control anything or anybody or even make anybody else really, 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 truly, truly happy but ourselves, right? But we try. And sometimes all that can lead to feeling really burnt out and really let down when things don't go right. So just learn how to pay attention. And you know, I've with, you know, with company coming in, I just want everything to be so nice for everybody. And really, nobody's, I don't think, they're not coming to visit me because, I mean, I know Ronnie Lynn really wants to go to the Crocker Museum, but that's not why she's coming. She's coming, I hope, you know, to really spend time with me. That's what she's coming to see. Yeah, I want the guest room to be beautiful and comfortable and have everything, you know, that Lynn and Richard could need and possibly want. And the same thing for Ronnie and Lynn when they're here. Yes, but they probably sleep on a blow-up mattress in my living room if that's all I had to offer, because they're coming to see me, coming so we can have, you know, time together and create memories, right? But it doesn't matter. I'm still going to try to make it as perfect as I can make it. But I got to make sure I don't burn out in the process. I got to make sure that I'm taking care of me too, right? And same thing for you guys with the holidays coming. And even after the holidays pass, I mean, we don't just get burned out during the holidays. Burnout can happen on a random Wednesday, right? So make yourself an affirmation. You know, sharing yours was lovely. Make yourself affirmation for when those moments happen. Mine will probably be something like, if you know, the house isn't on fire, it's okay to take a deep breath. It's okay to revisit. It's okay. If nobody's hurt, nothing's burning, nobody's in danger, it's okay to step back and take a moment, to take a breath, to take a bubble bath, to take a bottle of wine and go outside by the fire pit and try not to light anybody on fire. It's okay. If nobody's in imminent danger, it's okay. Just stop and take a moment and make sure that if it's something that feels really overwhelming and feels really stressful and feels really, really big, it's okay. Give myself permission to take a step back. If it's that big, if it feels that big, it's okay to take a step back and make sure that I feel really prepared, that I'm really in my right mind when I make the decision on what to do about it, right? Okay, we're at time. So I hope that this has been a well-spent hour. It's been a well-spent hour for me. It's, like I said, while I love connecting with you guys and I love seeing when things really resonate with you, it's equally as important for me to take these little slots of time once a week or every other week or when you can, to take a moment and a step back when nothing else is going on and nothing else matters, and to reflect on these things that happen to all of us, tall, skinny, rich, poor, okay, no matter New York, California, the UK, Australia, wherever in the world Lynn happens to be. You have to tune in tomorrow to find out where that is. So make yourself an affirmation, a reminder of who you really are and what you can really control and what you can really do when you're getting close to burnout, getting close to feeling overwhelmed, and getting close to being irritable and cringy. Okay? And I will see you next week. Thank you, Quinn. Thank you for coming. It's always nice to see you. I know you're always busy with your writing and your new book coming out, and your painting and your parents and your friends. And we all have our things going on, so it always means a lot to me when I can see you guys and connect with you. So Lynn, it looks like Lynn's going to be changing the time of her live stream because she's been on the road traveling again. So thank you for spending the time. I hope that you've, kind of like when you go to a good restaurant and you get to take something to go. I hope you get a good takeaway from this, and that while you're feeling kind of still in the moment and the reading is still kind of fresh and the conversation is fresh and the comments are fresh from the chat, that you take a moment to really write your future self a reminder. Write something down so that your future self has some breadcrumb to follow to feeling more peaceful and more at ease. And I will see you next week. And remember, as you go forward in the week, don't let anybody dull your sparkle.